People who work at a Subway/sandwich place. What is the strangest order you've ever had from a customer? This one guy used to come into my sub shop at least twice a week. Always ordered a steak and cheese with extra ketchup. Except you couldn't put enough ketchup on it. We could use over half a bottle and he would still come back and ask for the bottle because packets took too much time. Okay, but also, packets do often take too much time. That's why I eat at home and have a bottle of ketchup ready. My town had a lot of foreign exchange students from South Korea and they would always order the meatball subs with scoops of seafood sensation, which was just mayo and imitation crab. Then have it toasted. It smelled horrible. Also had a guy that could barely talk. He was so high, wanted every sauce on his chicken bacon ranch. It was more soup by the end. Then he gets to the register and he remembers he doesn't have any money and walks away. My manager actually asked anyone if they wanted it. I went to high school with a pair of sisters who both ordered the meatball seafood thing. It smelled awful, but their whole family loved it, and it was the only thing any of them ate there. Worked the night shift for Subway during college. Had a regular come in at 3 AM usually that would request that we toast the S out of his sandwich. I'm talking the whole thing was basically charcoal. First time he came in, while I was on shift, I pulled his sandwich out of the toaster and he told me to put it back in. And again. And again. I thought he was a drunk guy fucking with me. Apparently he really liked the taste of burnt everything. Gross me out. But as long as he paid I didn't really care. Damn. This reminds me of an asshole that would always order 2-foot-long flatbread sandwiches right before we officially closed. He demanded that we toast each sandwich separately for 8 minutes with all of the veggies on it. If someone tried to toast them together, he refused to accept it and insisted we start over. There was never a manager for the closing shift, so this asshole just liked to bully whoever was working. Oh. And then extra regular mayo and sriracha. I think he wanted to know what a dumpster fire tasted like. If learned one thing from the thread, it's that my son's order of pepperoni on white bread with mayo and pickle is not all that strange. Quizness. Mostly working with teams. This one kid brings in a bunch of Tupperwares at the beginning of his shift. Weird. But I don't care. End of his shift. Edit 3. Not closing time. We had a lineup and his mom shows up to give him a lift. He starts filling the Tupperwares with chili. Turns out his mom tried it one day and loved it. Whole family tried. They all love it. They'd made a deal with our boss to buy bulk chili every week. Edit. I forgot all about Alice Cooper. Came in near closing. Went straight for the cookies. This is a mall food court. He was actually looking for a Starbucks since we were about the only place still open near 10 PM. He came to ask us. Except I don't drink Starbucks. My boss don't drink Starbucks. And the cashier who does know can't speak because she's frozen up in the face of Alice freaking Cooper. I knew at least which exit to take to the Starbucks down the street. Cashier managed to nod along with my directions. Then Alice Cooper bought about 10 Quizness cookies and left, looking for a Starbucks. Edit 2. Fixed bye. The mom and boss worked out a price for the chili. He actually hosts the radio night hours during the week on Classic Rock 101.5 now. Was quite a shock when I first started listening to the station. Edit. Just to be clear, I'm well aware he's doing this nationally. I'm not some starstruck fan thinking he's just living in a town of 50k people in the butt crack of nowhere doing a show on a little radio station lol. I haven't worked at Subway for like 15 years, but will never forget the asshole regular that came in and wanted a ref ton of olives and drowned in Chipotle. He was at E the entire time for no reason, so we all got real passive aggressive with him and just did the prescribed 6 olives at a time and 3 lines of dressing. He'd turn red, call the owner. He bitched enough the manager was told to just have him call the owner, and the owner would just say they're doing it how they're trained and how Subway requires. He'd disappear for a month or so then repeat. This is hilarious and reminds me of when I was a server at a very casual bar/BBQ joint and a woman ordered chicken nachos, then said but without the pico, the nacho cheese, the sauces, the guacamole, the sour cream, the bean stuff, the salsa, the cilantro, and the jalapenos. I repeated her order twice to make sure I'd gotten it right, and she was clearly getting annoyed with me. I was finally like, it's just going to be tortilla chips with chicken on top. Are you sure that's what you want? If you have dietary restrictions or don't like certain foods, there may be something else on the menu I could suggest that you may enjoy more. But she cut me off and said yes. She just wanted chips with chicken on top, and is there a problem with that? I apologized to her and went to explain to the chef what she wanted. He asked me to go back and double check with her, but I said I already asked her like 3 times. So I bring out this pile of tortilla chips with chicken on top, and I've never seen someone so angry with me. She made a huge scene, yelling about what the hell I just brought her. I just kept apologizing and explained that I thought that's what she asked for, but I'd fix the problem, and asked what she actually wanted. She said she did want just the chips and chicken, but what I brought her wasn't even nachos, it was just chicken and chips. I spent way too long talking with her and trying to figure out what she wanted. Did she want anything else on there or with it? No. Did she want something else made for her? No. Oh. She's just trying to make up a problem to get a free meal. At this point it's worth it, because I'm wasting so much time and I have other tables that need me. I apologize again and tell her there's no charge for her meal, but she says no, that's not what she wants. Eventually I managed to pull myself away to get a manager who went through the same long set of questions as I did, struggling to understand. Eventually the manager got frustrated and said, this is stupid. We'll comp your meal or get you something else out quick if you change your mind and want something else. But I'm not arguing with you anymore about how the chicken and chips you ordered is chicken and chips. Then the woman gestures me over to yell at me about how rude my manager was to her, insisting she didn't want any of my previous offers when I attempted to re-offer them, and stopping me whenever I tried to excuse myself to attend to other tables. The whole time all of this was happening, the man she was there with just stared down at his plate. That night I went home and drank a beer and just stared at the wall for a long time, trying to figure out what the F just happened. I had to read this twice because I tried to make sense of it. I just don't understand. I got some weird customers when working in fast food and fast casual places, but nothing like that. I'm so glad I never had to be a server, haha. It sounds like she wanted chicken nachos, but without all that extra nacho bullshit I hate. Not realizing all that extra nacho bullshit is what turns a pile of dry chips into nachos. Most likely, I've dealt with enough stupid people to know there's people like that. We have one person who's come through at least 3 times in the past 6 months at the fast food Tex-Mex place I work, who comes in and asks for nacho cheese and expects it to come with chips every time, even though we tell her and it clearly says on the menu it's only nacho cheese. The one time we rang her up for nacho chips and cheese, she threw a fit at the price until we changed it to just the cheese. Worst part is that she always sends first her son to inquire about the missing chips, who we tell that they didn't buy any, and after he leaves, her husband comes back to inquire about them. He though understands and buys a bag of chips from us. Poor guy even understands and apologizes for his wife when she's not there, saying has used to dealing with her. Worked at a Subway and a guy ordered a meatball sub, no sauce, but with copious amounts of vinegar. Also worked at Sonic and had multiple times where a lady ordered tomato sandwiches, just tomatoes and a bun. Tomato sandwiches, buttered Italian bread, tomatoes, salt, pepper are very popular in my family. They are normally made with fresh bread and thick sliced tomatoes from the garden though, so I can't imagine the Sonic version would cut it. Tomato sandwiches are delicious. We had frozen egg discs that we were supposed to heat in the oven. I say egg, but really it was more of a frozen circle of egg whites with a yellow piece in the middle that may or may not be missing depending on luck of the draw. This one guy would come in every shift I had and order just the egg circle, but didn't want us to heat it up. We handed him hard, frozen, disgusting looking discs that sounded like rocks when banged against the counter, covered in ice flakes. He barely spoke English, so the first time he showed up we were very confused to say the least. But once we understood, he was very happy with his egg hockey pucks.